Alright guys, so today is a milestone day for this MR2. We're taking the engine out. Last video we pulled a bunch of stuff on the top and we had to get onto the bottom. So today I'm going to pull the stuff on the bottom and then hopefully we get the engine out at the end of the video. So with that said, welcome. Let's get started. I'm going to head under the car. We're going to start pulling stuff apart. I'm going to show you what I've done since you saw me in the last video. So let's get going on that and here you go. So guys, we're back at it, and as I mentioned, we're going to try to get this engine out today. So I just wanted to give you guys a few updates. From the last video, I went ahead and took the water, the coolant heater core lines off, and I did not have to cut them, but look at these things. They are absolutely mangled. That's how they were. I didn't do that. But the good news here is that they are not leaking, or were not leaking when the car was running. So hopefully I can still get those on with my new hoses with a 2GR and not have to worry about any leaks. But man, this is exactly what I was talking about, where when you try to take those things off, if you use like a wrench, like a pliers to try to turn those hoses, you can actually mess up the lines. And sure enough, whoever worked on this car before did that. So yeah, so anyways, another quick update on the top section. Got the the main coolant line off right here. So disconnected it from that U-pipe, the hard pipe. And then the speedo cable, it's right here. I disconnected this from underneath the car right here because it does go down into the transmission right here, but for whatever reason, when I try to pull it, the cable was just not coming out. So I didn't want to force it, and it's kind of like at a weird angle. Can't really access it too well from under the car. So I figured I'd just remove the engine and then try to see what I can do to get that out. Now, do I need to take it out when I transfer the transmission? No, but I'm not even sure. I might use that transmission over there because when we drain this one, you guys saw me drain it on the last video, but I only got like half a quart of transmission fluid out of this transmission. No, it did shift well, no issues, went into all 5 gears, went into reverse just fine, but it clearly was low on fluid. So, I'm assuming that's how the previous one had it, or maybe there was an axle seal leak. I'm hoping at this point there is an axle seal leak. There is, as you can see on the ground there is a leak, which I'm hoping that's a rear main seal, because even with that low of fluid, I don't think we're going to get a leak from the inner shaft of the transmission. So hopefully the transmission is good. I'm going to try to roll the dice on that. Still undecided, but that needs to get done. So what you guys are looking at right now is the driver's side spindle. I basically took the rotor off, took the caliper off on this side. Don't worry, I'm going to walk you through on the other side. I'll do one side and then kind of work on the other side so you guys can see what's going on. But yeah, so we're getting there. Everything is pulled, so I don't have any issues with bolts being stuck right now. So what we're going to do is just go on the other side, start removing everything, and the whole idea here is we are going to get the subframe, which is this big black thing right here that runs across the back of the car. I'm gonna get that down. It's gonna free up the engine, get the axles out, and it's ready to be dropped. So I'm hoping to drop it today. Now Craig, me and Craig always drop these engines. Today is Saturday. He's gonna try to get here tomorrow, but I am actually gonna try to do this myself. So I don't know if it's a good or a bad idea, but I want to kind of, hone my skills here to be a little bit independent. So even if Craig comes tomorrow, we can do it with a tank or something else, but I'll give it a shot. If I think it's too risky, and risky in the sense that we have the front up on ramps and then you got to jack the back of the car. So that's the other thing, it's good to have a second person, but we'll see how it goes. I'll take my time. If I can get it done, fine. If not, either way, you guys are going to see this video with the engine on. So that's on its way out, guys. So let's go. All right, so what I've learned, working on cars, I've been a car fan for a while, so I've been wrenching on cars for a good minute, even with just the MR2s. sometimes, you know, there are things in the way and we don't want to take it out because we think, hey, that's too much work. But the reality is if you don't take it out, you know, the next step you're trying to do, it just takes a lot more time than you would have expected it to do just because something is in the way. So I just like to take as much as I can get out of the way if I can. And then in my case here, a lot of things are going, like, I mean, we're taking the calipers and rotors off. That has to get painted. It's going to be red because I got big brakes at the front which are red. The rotors are being replaced. The suspension here, we're doing coilovers, that's being replaced. The brake line is being replaced. So it kind of makes sense in my case to just remove everything anyways. I got to get all of this painted back black because it got oversprayed, so I got to make that look sharp. So, you know, whole idea is sometimes just remove everything, get the stuff out of your way so you can work freely. So what we're gonna do here, get this out of the way, pull this section of the brake line. Eventually then we'll have to pull these two, so that's gonna free the strut so that can come out. I did pull the lower section of the brake line as it goes to the caliper. So now what I'm gonna do is remove the caliper. There are two 17mm nuts on the back, one right here and one on the bottom. So that's gonna free this caliper. You gotta detach your e-brake. So right here, we're gonna detach the e-brake connection there. There's a little safety pin that goes in there, took that off already. That frees the caliper. Then the rotor basically just slips right off. See, it's loose already, just that holding it in place. I already pulled the axle nut here. And then we're gonna go get the two strut bolts out here. One is out already. I did pull the control arm in the front, and I pulled the control arm here in the back, cross member. So that's gonna free the spindle, and then we can remove the tire spindle this way. That frees up the axle. Axle will be dangling. Then we can just pop that out of the transmission. There's your axle, okay? All right, so that's what I'm gonna do. So let me get that done. Be right back. Alright, caliper is loose, got those two bolts out. And there might have some fluid draining, so you just want to drain that out so you don't mess up your floor, if that's something you care about, like me. Now we're gonna get the rotor off. Alright, now that I got the caliper out, I can get this rotor off. It slides out. And now we're gonna pull, well, this is pulled already, we're gonna get this piece off and remove the spindle. Get the nut off here and just take this whole thing out. So that's the next step. Moving right along, we're gonna get the strut out. So that guy comes out, is pulled on the bottom. So we're just gonna pull these three and drop that thing down. And then, honestly, the only thing I have left to do after that is get the two subframe bolts out. That releases the subframe on this side. Do similar, obviously everything I'm doing here, do it on the opposite side on the driver's side. And this thing is ready to drop down. Now, in the center of the subframe, right where the jack is, there are three bolts that mount that engine mount right there. So you gotta pull those to get that loose. If not, it's not coming down. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. And then we drop the subframe and then the engine is gonna be dangling, but I'll show you that moving along here. So I'm making some good progress. Happy so far. No, that is one beat to hell. This shock. So this is the original shock that was on the car. Yeah, it's been rough, but hey, you know, it can be cleaned up. So I'll probably end up restoring these. Put some new boots in here. Or I probably really ought to disassemble these things and sell some of this stuff because I just keep hoarding these parts. Okay, we got that out, and now the wheel well is clean. So this is a good angle now because I get to paint all of this, put the undercoat in, finish it off nicely. So you know, little by little, guys, that's what I'm telling you. Everything you do, just do it little by little, and next thing you know, car comes along very nicely. So we gotta pop that axle out. I gotta check to see, you know, again, I'm hoping there was some type of axle seal leak why there's no transmission fluid. But yeah, that's another story. Just gotta keep moving on. Okay, so I got the other side done. Just as this side, everything is cleared out, spindle is out. So now we gotta get the subframe bolts out. So there's a long one right here, there's a short one here. Took those out, so two on either side. So we're gonna pull these. That's gonna drop the subframe. I have a jack supporting it right now, so it's not gonna fall. And then once these are loose, then I will just lower the jack. Subframe should come right down. Making good progress. These are the bolts I was worried about because sometimes there's a cast nut inside the frame here and they can break. So if you break it, you gotta cut inside here. And I was really hoping not to do that. So I think so far we're good. All right, this is a long one, and surprisingly they're in very, very good shape, considering how, you know, what could happen with all this rust that this car had. So finish up the other side and on our way. Figure I'd give you guys a look at the short one. This one is in the back, as you can see. Okay, so this one is a little bit more crusty, but overall not bad. We'll soak these in some rust remover. It should come out pretty good, and we can reuse these bolts. Now it's time to drop the subframe. So there it is, subframe is coming down. So definitely can be done with one person. I mean, just use the jack to help you out. And so engine should be rocking right now because subframe is down. So if we come up here, there you go. So it's just attached with this engine mount on this side, the one over here on the transmission. This guy right here. So there's 3 bolts, one down here and 2 under the bottom, which I have loose already. So we are definitely making progress. This is my little trick to get in the axle out. I basically use this huge wrench that I have. I put it in here and I just basically push on right here. So just tap on this. I use a hammer, tap it, and it gets it right out. And as you can see, it's already out, so now I just gotta pull it back. And that's why I get the axle out. This is on the S54 transmission. I'm gonna do the same on the other side. So just a quick tip, because sometimes this thing can be a pain to get out, but this has worked well for me. So just wanted to share with you guys. All right, guys, so we got the rear subframe out. You got the brakes, suspension, everything off in the back. I did go ahead and take the alternator out because from a filming perspective, you guys see those 2 studs over there. That's the studs for the engine mount on the passenger side. There are 2 14mm nuts that are on it. I removed those already. So the right side of the engine, sorry, it's actually detached. We just need to drop the hoist. And then I'll show you guys over on the driver's side. We also pulled the 3 bolts that are on the engine mount on that side. So let me try to get you in under there, and then I have the engine suspended on the left. So it's really now just to drop it down and get it onto that little dolly over there. And you know, hopefully it's not much drama. Let me get up from under the car, show you the setup that we have going on. All right, so it's probably better to give it an angle shot from the top because it's super hard to get it on the bottom. But if you see these two studs right here. There's two bolts that go in under the bottom. You're gonna pull those, and then this one right here, you pull that. So three on the driver's side mount, and once you pull that, then the transmission is detached from the chassis. So essentially, got the chassis detached over here, got the chassis detached from the engine mount over there, and here's the setup. So I got the engine being supported by the lift, and if I come on this side, you guys will see that's my setup. Now, again, I have the smaller lift. It's not a 2 ton, it's a 1 ton. So the 1 ton, this boom is shorter. If you have the 2 ton, it's longer, so you could actually do it from the back, which would probably be easier, honestly, because right now, here's the risk. You're so close to the fender, so I put a little foam thing in there. But, you know, we've done it before and it worked, so just gotta be careful. Let's drop the engine now and see if this goes well. All right, guys, so I have the engine now just hanging from the lift. I'm gonna slowly take it down. I have the dolly lined up. I'm gonna slowly ease it down, and then as I go down, I'm going to test, see where it's falling on the dolly, and making sure it kind of lands where I want it to, because we gotta be able to roll this out afterwards, right? And we'll just check, make sure nothing is getting hung up on anything. So just take your time, little by little. All right, guys, so we got the engine down. Unfortunately, the lift kind of failed on me. So, you know, like I was gonna bring it back up to reposition it, and it just would not, you know, have any pressure to bring up. So luckily it came down. So we have this engine sitting down here. I don't know, I'm gonna test take out the lift and see if I can get it to move, because if I can't get it to move, the engine is stuck here until I can get a proper lift, or a working lift, I should say. Because I gotta jack the back of the car up to slide the engine out, but at least the engine is down. So one step of 2 to get the engine out, successfully done. Let's figure out the next step. Well, I got a bleed in action, I think, and lift is going up again, so we're gonna try to jack the back of the car, and looks like we should be okay getting the engine out. All right, so I got the lift in position. I have my hook. So basically I strap this onto the tow hooks on the back, and then we're gonna get it in here and then get it back up. So the idea here is you gotta get some strap like this, right? And then we're gonna jack the back of the car out, and the idea is that we want to slide the engine out either side. In my case, I'm gonna go to the passenger side. Yeah, if you follow the channel and you've done this before, you know you gotta get the back of the car pretty high up in the air. So it's on ramps in the front. You always want to pay attention to the rotation, because as you lift the back of the car, it kind of pulls the physical car itself back a little bit, so make sure it doesn't roll off the ramp. I put I repositioned the jacks, the ramps, so the wheels are on the as far forward as it can be, so if it rolls back, it's okay. And then I put the old brake rotors, just kind of help us a little stop. It's not the best stopping tool, but just take your time. Essentially, just don't rush to get it out. Now, another thing I highly recommend, you get yourself some 6-ton jack stands. These are 3-ton. You can pull them up, but it's just kind of sketchy when you have these things up in the air. And I like these because it has the locking pins. So I purchased these to use with swaps. So what I'm going to do when I get the car going up, I'm going to replace these with a bigger one. And as I notch the car up, I bring the jack stand up. Just a second level of safety. So if the lift fails or the car falls, it falls on the jack stand and it doesn't become a problem. Okay, so So yeah, so that's why I have these. So now let's just get the car up as high as we can so we can slide this engine up. Alright guys, so the engine is out. Now I'm lowering the car down. Always sketchy when you're jacking up the back. Even more sketchy when you're doing it yourself. So now I'm lowering the car down onto the jack stands. And again, see, moving very slowly. We'll go talk about the engine in a second. I just want to get this down safely on the jack stands, and then, you know, so happy so far. You know, finished this project. Well, not finished the project, but at least finished for the day, getting the engine out. The lift kind of scared me for a second because I thought I was going to have to go buy one, which I don't want to. So. Hope you guys enjoyed it. It was pretty quick. But that's how you take out an engine from an MR2. You basically detach all the components of the engine from the chassis. You lower the engine to the floor, put out a dolly, jack the back up, slide it out, and that's pretty much it. So I'm gonna clean up now. I'm gonna roll this lift back up. I gotta get the transmission off of the engine and then put the engine on the stand, but you guys probably don't want to see that, so I'll show you the finished product. But with that said, the engine is out. It is straight 2GR from here. So you won't see the 5S anymore. You're just going to see the 2GR. We're going to finish buttoning that up. We got to clearance the block to get the transmission to fit. I got to put on the water deck and all that good stuff, and then it's time to roll it back in. Of course, I got to clean up in the engine bay. So again, just hang in there, stay in for the ride. Hope you guys enjoy this stuff, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.